Hey, what's good, people? You already know what it is. You got talk football. We're back again with another video. Let's get this show started. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We got a big show to talk about. We got a lot to talk about today. I got my guy Gunner Souls in the building, as you guys already know. We got an injury crisis to discuss. We got a couple other things to discuss. Is Mikel Arteta already thinking about Man City? He spoke about Kai Havertz, and so did a lot of people this week. We're gonna get into him, and you know what? That's a big pause, but we're gonna continue. Yo, I don't know if anyone even noticed what I said, but that was a major pause. Similar to what the guy said about Amrabat midweek, that fan. But let's get into it. Souls, we got people already in the comment section saying finally injuries. You got Manchester United fans talking about finally injuries because only us suffer with injuries. I'm pretty sure Chelsea have it worse than you. I'm pretty sure Liverpool had it pretty bad last year. I'm pretty sure other teams have injury problems also. Tottenham don't seem to have too many injuries this season. You go to Man City, they have a lot of injuries. There's an injury crisis across all of Europe. Why is that, bro? Why is there so many injuries across Europe? Why is it Kevin De Bruyne is out for Man City? You got all these major players out for all these clubs. Liverpool seem to be the only team that are not. No, you know what? Thiago Alcantara is out for them every month. So every team
at this point, it's their fault. Like, I mean, Thiago came in injured, he's still injured, and they still haven't brought anyone in. That's like, at that point, it's like, I don't feel sympathy for you. It's the same with Thomas Partey. Like, there's only so long you can feel sympathy for a club, but we know Thomas Partey gets injured. If we don't address that, unlucky. Like, I really don't. It's common sense.
But bro, can we be honest? There's a higher rate of injuries this season than normal?
No, I mean, I don't think it's a higher rate. I just think we're looking into it a lot more. And the reason why I say that is because the intensity of football has been crazy for a while now, and injuries have always happened. Like, Kevin De Bruyne has been injured pretty much every season he's been at Man City. Thomas Partey always gets injured. Thiago's been injured a lot. The ones that are a bit obviously new to people is the ones such as like Declan Rice getting injured, for example, because that is quite new, and especially a back injury, or being reported anyway to be a back injury. And in terms of like what the reasons could be, I mean, I'm not like a physio or an expert, but I'm guessing it's just the intensity levels that raise when players come to these types of teams. You know, when you're playing for a Man City, when you're playing for a Liverpool, when you're playing for, you know, even to a degree when you play for United, the expectation is to press a lot and high press. And the reality is, even if you look at some of the biggest doctors and physios, they've all come out and said it takes about 18 months to 2 years for someone's body to acclimatize to the level of press and intensity that some of the Premier League teams play at. And when you kind of factor that in, especially when you go from a team like, not in a disrespectful way, but like a West Ham, for example, who aren't required, who do sit back a lot more, who don't press maybe for the full 38 games or, you know, even longer than that in cup competitions, etc. That's a big change for a player's body to go through. It's the same as this, right? Say, for example, you take a 2-year break at the gym, or you just do a few activities, you know, you go for walks, you go for this, and then you try and train to be a bodybuilder or a marathon. You're gonna get to your knees are gonna hurt you. You know, you're gonna get niggly injuries that are gonna cause a few pain problems. But it's that for me. And at the end of the day, look, it could be multiple things. It could be we just get unfortunate that the medical tests and, you know, everything just hasn't picked it up, and it was always gonna happen. But yeah, I guess everyone's body reacts differently as well. People age at different points. Some people can play till their 30s, 40s. Some people, like Ryan Giggs, for example, had one of the longest careers for an outfield player. Like, that's crazy to see. But some players, you know, look at Ronaldo, prime example of someone who keeps himself in shape. But even then, to play at the highest level of football, he's had to, you know, go to Saudi League. I know there's obviously factors to that, but even he's had to move because even someone like that knows he can't handle 38 to maybe 50 games of that level of intensity. So, look, everything's different. And yeah, like, I just think injuries are going to be part of sports, let alone football. Like, that's just a factor. Like, I don't know what the NBA is like. I don't know what NFL is like, but I'm sure they get their own injuries as well. And sometimes it's a lot more than normal.
Yeah, that's true. Let's get into the conversations around the injuries. You ready for that? Because
Yeah,
there's a lot. There's a lot to talk about. So I think the best way to do it is to go to the actual interview that Mikel Arteta had and listen to what he had to say, because he had a press conference and he mentioned a lot of things today. So one of the first things he spoke about was injuries, and Mikel Arteta was not shy. He spoke and he said he felt like he couldn't really talk about it too much. But to be clear, we have a whole entire 11 of injuries, basically. If you look at this is a whole 11 almost of injuries. Not an entire 11. We're missing 2 players plus the goalkeeper. But at this moment in time, we're 3 players short of having 11 of injured players. You have Saka, who has a knock. You have Leandro Trossard, who, if I'm not mistaken, picked up something against Everton game. I'm not sure what kind of injury he has. Martinelli has an ankle injury, if I'm not mistaken. Fabio Vieira picked up a knock in the most recent game in the League Cup. Thomas Partey. What was Thomas Partey's injury? I'm starting to forget some of these
he's
injuries.
a hamstring.
Hamstring. Declan Rice, back spasms or some sort of back issue, similar to what Saliba had it previously. Also, Saliba had back spasms and back issues in the past also. So they're just precaution at this point. And Timber, the one player with a long-term injury out of everybody on this list. Now, when asked about this, Mikel Arteta says Saliba and Fabio Vieira both left out in the League Cup game because they were not fit enough. Injury list continues as Partey and everybody else. But let's see what Mikel Arteta had to actually say.
In that same pool that they might not play tomorrow.
Let's see how everybody is today. Again, obviously they were.
He never really tells us what we need to hear. That's the truth. Am I wrong? He never really tells us.
I mean, the reality is you'd never want to give away who's available and who's not available. I mean, there's some obvious names, but it's to play into the mind games of like a press conference. And you know what Arteta's like. That's what he thrives on.
Okay, so let's go through some of the points in the press conference. Would it be better if I actually scroll down so you guys can read along with me? Or do you guys just want to see a picture of Mikel Arteta's face the whole time? Let me know, Souls. What are you saying? You want to see the actual word?
We'll read it and you read it. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, so first he spoke about on the fitness of Declan Rice and everybody else. So just to get this computer to read it out for us.
Declan wasn't available and had to leave the London derby. He hasn't trained yet. We have another session in an hour or two, so we'll have more news about him today. Gabriel hasn't trained and we want him back. We need him back, but at the moment he's not been available. Leandro, same situation. Bukayo, same situation.
So basically, they're all probably going to miss the game against Bournemouth. All four of those guys: Declan Rice, Gabriel Martinelli, Leandro Trossard, and Bukayo Saka. Most likely will all miss the game. But he does give us a little bit of hope with Bukayo Saka, saying the assessment is okay. He's not fit enough, not good enough, not able to be selected tomorrow. Oof, that's clear. But the question marks so far, he hasn't trained with the team. Bro, it looks like Bukayo Saka is not playing for the first time in 83 games. Bukayo Saka hasn't missed a game in a long time. And it looks like Bukayo Saka is going to miss a game. Interesting. I'm not crying. I don't know why this Chelsea fan always is saying crying about injuries. No one's crying. I still expect us to win. Don't get it confused with us discussing the press conference with me saying I'm crying and I want none of that.
We've not even given our opinions yet on the match.
Still expect to win. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. We're not gonna go goalless like Chelsea against Bournemouth. But here's the next part. I want to talk about what he said about Kai Havertz, because I thought this was
you want to talk about our opinions on the injury and then go to Kai Havertz so that we can stay on topic.
Yeah. Is there anything else that he said on injuries? Here we go. Here's what he said about Saliba and Fabio Vieira.
On if Saliba and Vieira will play tomorrow. Let's see how everybody is today. Obviously they weren't selected for a reason and we need to assess them again today.
That's what he had to say about that. And then I found there was an interesting question from the media about this. And obviously he's never going to answer this directly, but listen to this.
On if that impacts his thinking for Man City next week. It's about now. It's about Bournemouth. And this is the most important game that we have now in the season. That's it.
Deflecting?
No.
On
He's always said this.
His decision making somewhat shows that he plans for the future, though.
That might be the case, but he is always in press conferences. He's always said, the next game is the one I'm thinking about.
And then this is another important question, based on the fact that our bench is going to be so weak.
On if his role is as an impact player off the bench. No, we have to assume he is a starter as well. We want to have a team that is more unpredictable and has the resources to rotate. Everyone has to become a starter. That's what we've noticed.
So he's speaking about Reece Nelson's role in the team and in the dressing room. And when asked, he's not wrong. In how he's been addressing the team, he has been looking at everyone as a starter, and that's what he wants. So it's going to be interesting. Now, with the injuries, let me go back to them quickly, because I'm going to go to this so you guys can see it. This is the injured 11, basically. With the injuries, bro, we got to talk about these injuries. What do we have to say about these injuries? Because we already knew about Timber, Saliba's injury, a knock. Do you think it has to do with the back injury that he had back in the last season, and they're just trying to be careful now?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they've not really given anything other than they just weren't fit enough to play. That can mean a multitude of things. It could just be a way of just saying, look, we rested them. We didn't want to play them. We didn't need to play them in a way. But without coming across maybe arrogant, or without coming across like, oh, look at us, like we don't need Saliba to play against, Brentford or whatever. It could be like, I think with obviously the other players, we kind of have an idea of what their injuries are. But with William Saliba, they've clearly kept it quiet on, and Vieira, to be fair, like they've said is a knock.
Only one long-term injury, so that is a blessing in disguise. The fact is, all these guys could be back versus Man City, potentially. Obviously, Partey might not be back that quick, but their injuries are not all that bad. I'm not freaking out like I would have been going into this game if we were a year ago. Saka's not there. I expect somebody else to step up. Trossard's not there. I expect somebody else to step up. The fact that Trossard, Martinelli, and Saka are injured, arguably our three best wingers, we're going to have to play Jesus on the wing. Fabio Vieira being out is a blow, but we still have Odegaard and we still have other options. And really and truly, he's a bench option. He's not a starter, although he has been really good this season. Declan Rice and Partey being out is a little bit of a problem, especially going into the Man City game. If they're both out versus Man City, it's long days. And William Saliba is crucial. We see it every single game, how important he is as a defender. Now, Partey, hamstring. William Saliba, knock. Declan Rice, back issue. Fabio Vieira, just a knock. Gabriel Martinelli, if I'm not mistaken, it's an ankle injury, right?
Yeah, it's ankle, I guess. It's one of those, like...
Ankle, hamstring. Hopefully it's not an Achilles. Leandro Trossard, do you know what the injury is with him?
I think it was a grade 1 hamstring. It was because I remember someone telling me it's only going to be 2 to 3 weeks.
Yeah, so that is another one there. And then, so yeah, with that being said, no, this is the perfect time to add in Curran, because you know what people are saying now on socials, guys? People on socials are basically saying, oh, guess what? Now we have to play Al Neni. I seen your tweet about it.
Hey, listen, El Neni's a bad boy, all right? Don't diss him.
He looked decent, you know.
Any slander on El Neni, and I'm coming to London to find you.
No. But my point is, even with the injuries, we're not going to really have to play Al Neni.
You'll just be filling out the bench.
On the injuries,
it's going to come down to these. But before we go any further, let's continue. Let's just stay on the injuries for a second.
Yeah, let me just say one quick thing, right? And I kind of pointed this out on Twitter today as well. The reality is, right, all of us, especially us three here, we've trusted the process, right? We've trusted Arteta to build the squad how he wanted to build the squad. Now, there's not a single player in this squad, including the bench when all fully fit, that aren't his players. So now it's time for Arteta to trust his own process. Now, I understand, right, these are huge injuries. I'm not taking away from the fact that he's got a big challenge. Bournemouth, maybe not so, but against Man City, yes, that's a big challenge to not have potentially all of these players not available. But the reality is you've had about, 3.5 seasons and about £700 million spent. I know spending doesn't mean, success, so it doesn't always mean a good squad. But the reality is he got to choose what he wanted. Now it's about, repaying the faith that the fans are putting you and trusting your own squad. ESI is more than good enough to play in this team. You've got Reece Nelson, who you gave a new contract to. Jesus is fit. Eddie Nketiah is fit, someone who you chose to keep as a backup and not have Balogun there. When you look at even the midfield, they're the kinds of players that you wanted to keep. Jorginho was your conscious decision to go get and also keep him. So you've now got to repay your faith in these players and in the fans who have said, okay, we'll trust your decision, regardless of whether we agree or disagree. Because a lot of us were having debates on whether we should sell ESR, whether we should sell Reece Nelson and let him go and bring someone else in. So for me, it's about him now stepping up and showing us the manager that we believe he can be. And this is the moment, Shad, that can make him. I think this is going to be a moment that makes his career. And I think this is going to be the turning point that we as a fan base have asked for.
I mean, even with the injuries, like the actual 11 that will start, and personally, I don't think Emil will start. I think he'll go with Jorginho, Havertz, and Odegaard. But if he does go with Emil, I think that's a good decision. If he doesn't go with Emil, I get it because he's intent on playing Kai.
He's gonna play in a second, Corinne, but injuries specifically. What are you thinking about that?
I mean, injuries happen, man, and this is the thing. We've come at United for how many weeks now saying it's a nut up. You spent 200 and something million in one window and then backed up with another big window. You should be able to at least field an 11 that is decent enough to get on the pitch, not bloody Evans and Maguire as what you end up on the pitch with. I mean, we're still not quite there. I mean, I think we might see a Cedric sub at some point probably, but we're still looking at a squad that really I like. I like the squad I typed out on the tweet I was mentioning. I genuinely think can win that game. So look, it's about managing things. I mean, you look at City. City have got Rodri on a red, Stones out, a bunch of other people out. So like it's just a case of managing what you have. So it's that simple. If you want to win titles, you want to win trophies, you got to manage what you have. And honestly, the squad we have, like I'm just typing it out now what I think we'll see. And genuinely, it's not something that I'm like, okay, we're really screwed. This is like holding Mari type situation here. That's not the thing. And this is another thing you got to consider is this is why you get rid of Holding, because if Holding was still here, he'd have like a bit of him going, just chop. If Saliba's out, chop Robin and play Tomiyasu.
He got rid of him just to get rid of the temptation.
Exactly.
But let's just say this, guys. We got 70 of you guys in the chat right now. Do me a favor, hit that like button. Now, before we go any further, I did put out a tweet about us not even worrying, even though we have all these injuries. It is not an excuse to say we are going to lose, or to say that we're going to drop points, or to even say I'm worried more now than I was before. I'm just saying I understand we have injuries. This is why I believe in the squad. I believe in the manager, but we have some selection headaches. So these are the positions that we're going to have selection headaches. In the striker position, in the left 8 position, and I think we're going to
sharing screen if that's what you were.
I'm just going to show you in a second. And so these are the positions that we're going to have. Let me change my settings. 1 second. There we go. Now you can see, right? So in the left, in the center back position or center back or the right back position, depending on where you want to play Ben White. So that's the first choice. You play Tomiyasu or Kavior, and depending on which one you play, where does Ben White play? That's the first question I think that needs to be answered. I think everyone can admit that Jorginho is going to start over Elneny. I don't think that's a selection headache. The left 8 position, I've been seeing a lot of selection. I've been seeing Havertz, Smith Rowe, all sorts of combinations between those two. Even Nelson, I don't think is as nailed on as I think he is, but for this experiment, I have him nailed on. And
so who do you think could have been the alternative to Nelson?
Smith Rowe and Havertz in these two, and then Nelson doesn't play at all as a starter.
I'd switch to the wingers personally. Not personally my choice, but from knowing Mikel doing what he probably do is Jesus will probably play on the left because he combines better with Havertz.
No, you're
So-
right, because he did that in the
this is my
Carabao Cup.
question,
He got
though.
Nelson onto the right, and then
Yeah.
Jesus was playing. So yeah, you're
So
right.
this is my question to everybody: Tomiyasu or KVR, Nelson or ESR, Havertz or ESR, or Eddie and Havertz. And depending on where you pick one out of these three, you pretty much decide where you're going to go with the other.
Yeah.
So everyone in the comment section, pick 4 names that you would start and let me know. I'm going to start by saying my pick is Tomiyasu, and I'm actually going to move Ben White over. And the reason why I'm doing
No. You don't do that.
Tomiyasu is
No.
the centre back.
Centre back, brother.
Tomiyasu is the centre back.
Tomiyasu will be the centre back.
Remember what I told you? Arteta listened to my advice and played him centre back against Carabao in the Carabao Cup. Masterclass. Tomiyasu was a beast. Yeah, play him in centre back. Leave Ben White.
He has been a centre back. Like if you looked at his last season at Bologna, he was a centre back.
Regardless, it doesn't matter.
No, it will be Tomiyasu centre back here.
Either
Like,
way,
yeah.
you're playing Ben White, Tomiyasu. That's my point.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
All right, yeah.
What the hell?
Yeah.
I think that happens to me a lot lately. My clip is not clipping on properly. It keeps throwing my phone at me.
I've got support here. See, I did call it. I told you, man.
Okay.
I
So
mean,
KVR was good, but the reason why I think Tomiyasu was going to get the shout over KVR is because Mikel Arteta had this to say about Tomiyasu just yesterday. He said, since he's come back from international break, this is what Mikel Arteta had to say. Listen to this. Where is it?
I always say that I'm really confident the moment Tony has consistency, because it's going to be a tremendous asset for us. He can play in any position in the back line, any formation in the back line. We don't have a player like him. His defending is probably one of the best that I've seen in many situations. His principles and the way he applies them, the way he goes into duels. Now he needs a run of games that get him physically at his best. When Tony is at his best, we're going to have a player who is going to be so important for us.
Based on how he's bigging him up in the press conference, I just feel like he's going to start. I know.
Yeah, I mean, you and I in the comments should know never to really believe Mikel's presses. Like we all remember the Trossard incident. So last season where he was like, he's not playing, and then just started him to say the next game. I think it was
against Fulham, and he had a hat-trick.
The Fulham, yeah, exactly. So, look, I personally think it will be Kivior right centre back, Havertz left centre mid, Jesus left wing, and Nketiah up front. That's how I think Mikel would do it. I would personally have it, Havertz right centre mid, Odegaard left centre mid, and then Nelson left wing with Eddie at the striker, so Eddie can drop and Nelson can go a bit forward. So, but he will go. Jesus left wing, Nelson right wing, Havertz left centre mid, and Nketiah up front. But yeah, I think that's pretty clear what he's going to do.
Yeah, he's gonna play Havertz, he's gonna play Eddie, and he's gonna play Tomiyasu. That's what I think.
Yes, I agree.
I don't think KVR is gonna get in over Tomiyasu, especially having a man of the match performance in the last game. He deserves to play on merit. I know Mikel Arteta does do that at times. He does play people out off merit, but hey, we're gonna see there. Reece Nelson is definitely gonna start, in my opinion, over ESR. I think a lot of people want Emil Smith-Rowe to start. But based on where he started him in the previous game, in Odegaard's position, does that give you the confidence to think that he's going to drop?
No, I don't think he'll start. I think he'll be an impact off the bench. I think he's going to be
70th minute substitution for either Nelson or Havertz,
or even Odegaard. Like it depends on because he's played right centre mid as well. So if Odegaard needs to come off,
depending on the score, of course, we're not
on the score as well. I mean, remember we've got City next week after Lens, so it's we need. I personally, and the people are going to critique this, but I genuinely personally would not risk a Martinelli or a Trossard or any of these guys. Given that we have City next week, I want everyone to be perfectly 100% fit for that. That's the key game. So even Lens is. Look, they're not doing great, so I'm not really as concerned. And they've lost like a lot of players that got them to where they are. So the likes of Fofana and these guys. But genuinely, the game that we need to focus on is City, and obviously one game at a time. And you have to focus on Bournemouth as well. But at the end of the day, you've got to look ahead, and that game is going to decide a lot because we're at home as well. No Rodri, no Stones. Like
Mikel
that.
spoke about that actually.
So
I don't know if you were here
yeah.
when we were talking about it, but Mikel spoke about that, and we kind of touched on it at the beginning of the game. Mikel, when asked if he's focused on the Man City game, you know what he's going to say.
They're one game at a time.
Now,
Yeah, of course.
it's about Bournemouth, and this is the most important game that we have now in the season. That's it.
He shut that down quickly.
Of course he did. Every manager does. It's not just him. Like if you ask any manager, the focus is the next game. That's it. Even if you have like 3 games in 3 days, which would never happen, the focus is the game that you have first. So I'm not surprised, but that in the back of his head, he knows that Emirates game will almost be season defining because of how much we need to get points against them. If we can go 1-1 against them, win 1, lose 1, then the title's up for grabs. Because we're looking at we've taken points off them, they're taking points off us. It's not a 6-point swing. So
we need this. We need this.
I mean,
but hey, Souls, you heard my prediction. You heard Curran's prediction. What's your prediction for the 3 open spots in the squad right now?
I don't care what Arteta's going to do. I'll give you mine. I hope he's listening to me as well. Because I advised centre-back Tomiyasu and what happened. Yeah, good performance. So I hope he listens. I hope he's watching. But anyway, I want to put Tomiyasu centre-back. I think that's probably the best way to get the dynamic out of the team. Ben White's clearly the right-back, and he does operate better as a right-back than maybe a centre-back for us. And also, it kind of gives you the dynamism of Tomiyasu's switching ability as well to the flanks. Then what I would personally do is play ESR left centre mid and put Havertz up top.
I mean, it could work. I mean, it'd be interesting. But the thing is, I personally just watching that Brentford game, the times that Havertz looked okayish was when he was combining with Jesus. I think they had 2 specific combinations, and both combinations ended up in a shot for us that occurred. So I just think he'll see that and think.
You know what I would want to do though? Like this is my ideal thing to do: put Jesus in the middle and put Havertz on the right.
Could work. I mean, this is the thing. I just think that what Mikel wants for Havertz is consistency and just and just being able to get used to what the requirements for his role are.
This is the team that I have, and I think this is the closest thing to the real team. Just swap Tomiyasu and Ben White, of course.
Yeah, swap Tomiyasu, Ben White, swap Jesus and Nelson. That's
as long as Havertz is playing, I'm happy. Yeah, my guy.
Let's get into Havertz. Let's talk about Havertz. Big pause once again. This pause culture is really getting to me.
Forget about it, man. You're an adult. Speak your mind.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. I know a lot of you guys seen all the tweets after the game of Kai Havertz. And after the game, a lot of people realized that they kind of overreacted because his overall performance was quite good. But my question is, are we misunderstanding what Havertz's role at Arsenal is? Because he's not a forward anymore, and he's actually being used in a different position, slightly to what he was previously. Are we misunderstanding his actual role and what he's supposed to bring to the game? Because defensively, he's doing his job. Overall, keeping the ball, keeping possession, pushing everything up. He's doing his job.
The issue, I think, is I don't think it's that his role is being misunderstood. I think it's what we expected him to come in and do. Now, we always knew that what we wanted out of the Xhaka role, should we say, on the left centre mid, was goal scoring. That was one of the primary goals to kind of upgrade this team and actually move forward and kind of bring in someone who can bring maybe 10 goals from midfield. The reality is Havertz isn't showing that ability right now. You know, I do think he will, like he's getting into the right positions, and we've kind of all unanimously said we need to wait for Zinchenko and Jesus to come into the lineup, and that's probably where we'll see the best of Havertz. But in terms of I feel like there's a lot of lazy analysis on Havertz because they're like, oh, he's useless, and I'm like, look, he's not doing what I want him to do in terms of getting in front of goal and actually scoring goals. But what he has done, which is part of the game, which no one expected him to do, and I've had a lot of arguments, even Igal knows this, I've said it week on week. The problem with Havertz is he's doing everything we didn't want him to do, which is all the defensive work, all the doggy work. He's winning his duels. People called him lazy and nonchalant. Yes, that's his demeanor, but he actually isn't. When you look at his underlying metrics in terms of defensive performance, he's actually working hard. Like even Arteta's noticing it as well. He is working hard, but the problem is in front of goal, you just fear for your life, don't you? Like you just
It's
don't
not
know.
even just that. I think that's doing it a bit short. Look, I feel like if you watch us, if like you actually watch us play football, you know what the problem is. If you actually watch us play, if you don't watch us play, you watch on Twitter or you watch on
Bro,
whatever.
if you watch on Twitter, they would tell
if
you
you watch on
Arsenal
Twitter.
lost
But the thing
everything.
is, if you actually watch us, the problem is quite clear. The problem is he's under-hitting his passes. He's a bit too lackadaisical in his touches at times. He gets dispossessed a bit. And he's not good in, as Saul said, he's not good in front of goal right now. He's got no confidence. He's not hitting the ball correctly. He's not really putting his foot through it. The issue that I think a lot of people are having is that he's playing balls that go to no one. I think that's the biggest thing. They're just not going anywhere. Then they're either going out. There was one against Brentford where he switched the ball, and Nelson, I think it was Nelson or is it Kivy or someone had to like backtrack and go back about to 15 yards and then pick it up and reset. Like that's the issue. The issue is the pass selection and placement. That's a big issue, especially from midfield. If you're a midfielder, you have to be able to pass through the lines. You have to be able to pass sideways at times. You have to be able to find a way to get through the lines. And that's what he's struggling with right now. What he's doing well is what Saul said. He's pressing well. He's being able to win his duels a bit deeper. He's doing decently in build-up. Like he's dropping into the pivot at times, quite a bit actually. And he's doing all right. Like he's not doing awfully. But as I said before, the best moments of Havertz was, I feel like, especially in the last game, was when he was on the left, just having Jesus either drop so he can run back, so he can run past the last defender, or where he's just laying it off to Jesus and Jesus can run. I think I think there was one moment where he did that. That's what he's decent at. He's not able to. Yeah.
Twitter shows me. Oh, I don't want to get copyright, but Twitter shows me moments like this where he doesn't have the confidence to even go when he has a one-on-one, basically.
Yeah,
I
mean, this is the thing. Like, if you anyone could. The thing is, if you move that screenshot on a bit, the defender clearly is going to run in front of him. Like it's not like it's not like everyone just pauses so Havertz can run through. The defender is going to continue his run, and he's on the inside. So he is goal. The defender is goal side of him. So it's not even a 1v1 that is like if you're someone that has a lot of pace, a lot of power, and can just shove off the defender and go through. Great. He's not that. He's not. He doesn't have that.
Is he?
He's not going to do that. So, but if you look at that, the defender is goal side. If the defender's on his outside, then there's nothing. You can't have any defense of that. But the defender is goal side. So if the defender's goal side, they've got the advantage. Even if they're like maybe half a yard behind, the ball, the action continues. The ball doesn't. The game doesn't stop at a screenshot. The game continues to move. So I don't really consider that a massive thing. Obviously, I would like him to be able to just bat off the defender and go through on goal. Obviously, and I think that he's got to do better in front of goal. I think I've said that already. But I think just picking up random screenshots and going, okay, that's it. That's awful. I can't believe he's doing this. I think that's weird. I think that's just I think that's very, very like GCSE analysis. It's not very. It's not like
that's all Twitter is nowadays, man.
It's a bit lackadaisical and a bit crappy.
Listen, I laugh because nowadays it's not even people's opinions on the game. It's just whatever they can laugh at. That's really
I mean, the main thing I found funny is when you have teams that have won less games in the entire calendar year than Havertz has had games for Arsenal, complaining about 007 or whatever the nonsense is. Like, win 7 games, then have a conversation with us. I think that should be the main thing. But that's beside the point. I think.
You know what?
I think just focus on our own team. That's the main thing.
There's a big difference though, right? And I wanted to address.
But we're not playing Kai as a striker.
Because people are calling it delusional to think Kai Havertz is any different from what he was.
But this is the thing. Look, Havertz. Yes, every signing that anyone makes can become a flop. We're not sitting there and saying Kai Havertz is a guaranteed, success, that he's going to become a world beater.
I think I've been quite harsh on him personally. I haven't said I haven't said he's going to be amazing. I've said what has actually happened on the pitch.
I'm not saying you. I'm just saying just general consensus of people is what we're saying is, look, we know what Arteta can do with players, right? We know his coaching ability to get the best out of players is quite good.
It's not even that.
But I'm just trying to address this point. So, when it comes to the idea, Chelsea fans were right. The problem that I have with that analysis, right, is, well, he's not really had a good coach. He's had a mixture of coaches. He's had Lampard twice.
No, he's had decent coach. He had Tuchel. Tuchel was decent with him. He had a good run under Thomas. Yeah. And that he did quite well there.
But it's inconsistent.
The problem is,
inconsistency in coaches though as well. Yeah, when you're a younger player, the whole situation at Chelsea was a shit show anyway. But even Mount regressed, and he was a fairly decent player in my opinion. But we know what Arteta's done, in terms of Leroy Sané, in terms of how he done with Raheem Sterling, etc. Kind of coming out and saying Arteta did help them. So I just
even look at Odegaard. Look at Odegaard. Look at the guys that we have here. So Saka, Odegaard. Martinelli. But I don't think that's the problem. The problem here is that people are hyper fixated on making sure that he's labelled a flop. I think that's the main thing. I don't think that it's a look. Havertz is awful right now. I'm not going to lie to you and be like he's doing bits. He's been pretty crap. I'm not going to lie to you.
Bro, even when he's been crap, if he got 2 assists, people wouldn't be saying he's crap.
No, but this is the thing. This is literally what I was about to say, Agal. People are watching games on SofaScore and Twitter and assuming that they know what the performance is. They're looking at orange and green and red ratings. If you want to look at a traffic light, go on the street. Don't come into football discourse and label that around. Look, I think he's got a lot to prove, and genuinely, I've thought that he should have been taken out of the firing line after I think United. It was I said that. I think there have been times that Fabio should have played, and he did, and he was benched. Fair enough, but the fact is, and this is the fact, there has not been a game that I can sit here and say, okay, Kai Havertz lost that game, because we haven't lost a game. So I think that if it's a case where he's not affecting the team and he's still developing and we're finding a role and getting him some consistency, then fine. If it's affecting the team performance, then drop him, like we did against Everton. So that's the clear thing.
I'm just going to say this. I have no problem with people who are already labeling him whatever they want to label him. But understand, you should also not have a problem with people who want to give him time. You do what you want to do. Nobody's going to tell you how to be a fan.
No Arsenal fan is going to sit here and say I don't want to give him time. It's been 7 games.
There's people who are saying he's crap. Get him out of here. We should have never bought him in the first place.
Of course, but that's going to be the thing. That's always going to be the thing. But the thing is, when he steps on the pitch, no one's going to be like, we have to get rid of him 5 minutes in. So
nobody's wishing harm on our players.
No.
But at the end of the day, I'm just saying, based on let people be. You do what you want to do. I'm going to do what I want to do. What I have an issue with is people who are going to tell you, Curran, or me, or Souls, he's shit, he's garbage, you're an idiot. No, don't. What's the benefit in that?
You can say the first two. Don't say the third one. Say he's shit. Say he's. Why are you calling me an idiot? I've come up with clear.
That's what I mean.
Genuinely, if you want to call him shit, you want to call him garbage. Do it. No one's stopping you. But I was on Sam's channel with Kunle once, right? And we were talking about this Havertz sign.
I was there.
You were there, right? You remember what I was saying? I bought all the diagrams. I bought the out of possession stuff. I bought the in possession stuff. I talked about where he play, how he play, and I literally exactly to the T. I've been right about how he's played. I don't think that there's an issue with the idea. The idea is fine. It's the fact is right now we're not seeing it. I don't think we have. We don't have the ability. He hasn't got the ability to prove right now. He doesn't have the confidence.
They're not viewing him. They're not viewing him as if we signed Kovacic. They're viewing him as if we signed another Gabriel Jesus, a forward who has to produce. People are the way they're analyzing Havertz is as if they don't see.
They're not analyzing Havertz. Let's be clear. They're not analyzing Havertz.
They're analyzing the striker.
They have an opinion.
Idea of they had of it's their.
No. It's not even that. They have a set opinion, and they see he's not scoring and he's not doing assists.
Yeah.
They have their opinion. They see no production, and it's the confirmation bias that there's not actually, like, I guarantee you, if you think any of these Chelsea accounts are watching our games and actually saying what's happening on the pitch, I don't think so. If CFC Mod is on our games, watching our games on replay after Chelsea games, look, fair play. But I don't think he's doing that. I think what he's doing is he's posting the 007 with this. I think that's what he's doing, and he's having a laugh. Let him have a laugh. He seems like a fine guy. So that's the thing. So when you realize that people actually aren't doing the due diligence, they're just trying to have some fun. Let them have their fun.
But even on top of that, right? Like when you talk about like a lot of like Fabio Vieira was meant to be a flop. That's what I was hearing last season. Oh, he's not got
I don't want to do narratives. Everyone can do narratives. What's actually happening on the pitch? That's what you need to look at.
I'm not saying that, but what I'm trying to say is when a lot of people like in the fan base as well were calling, oh, we should have sold Vieira, we should have sold him this summer, we should bring someone in. The reality is we gave it a season. He's come off like, I'm not saying he's been brilliant this season, but he's been better. We're starting to see that improvement come into him. So a lot of us are saying is, look, when you're analyzing a player, you've sometimes just got to give it time. Like imagine, right, we went with this one season. If we went with this one season narrative, you know the amount of players that would have been sold. Rodri would have been sold. Jack Grealish should have been sold. You would have had a lot of Liverpool players being sold as well.
Rashford would have been sold.
Yeah, like so many players would be gone that have then turned it around.
Right, and Mikel said it consistently. The guy needs to build relationships on the pitch. He needs to have an understanding of his role in the pitch. I think we're a month and a half into his term here, maybe 2 months. I think, look, he's had a preseason. He's done okay. He scored one goal. He had a bit of a flop at that MLS All-Star thingy. He's come in. He's had a couple of whiff chances, but what has he actually done to contribute to us? Performing worse on the pitch. I think that Man United goal, I think that was obviously something that definitely didn't do well. I think obviously the fluff chance he had in front of goal, I think 2 or 3 yards out against United, another one. I think he's had a couple of chances like that. But genuinely, like apart from what I've said before, the misplaced passes, that's the key thing. Yeah, if he continues to do that, then he shouldn't be playing. So
by the way, Kenny is calling you out, Souls, but I think it's different when you're after the match and a couple of days later.
No, I mean, look, okay, we're forming a positive eye, but we've still called him crap. We've said he's not been good enough. I don't really know. Do people not listen to the full fucking sentence, or do they just pick out what they want? Kenny, I'll say it again in slow so you can understand this. He has not been good, but I'm willing to give him time. I hope that kind of comes through, because some people don't listen. And they like this. I have criticized Havertz.
But the thing is, you can't do that. The one thing I don't really like, and the thing is, and it's not just you. I think a lot of people, what they do is they don't like a player, but they want to be positive.
Havertz, come on, let's not.
No, man, come on. What people say is, I'm going to give him time, but at some point, and I've said this with Eddie as well. I think we need another. I think we need another centre forward this summer or in January. I don't want it to be Tony, but that's another video. But the main thing is
you don't want Tony. You want Osimhen.
Yes.
Understandable.
Yeah. So, I'm in the same
boat. The main thing is look. If you want to give people time, give people time. But I feel like people get to a point where it's sort of just, okay, I don't want to appear that I'm against the team or against the players, so I just say I add it on. I don't think that's you, but I think a lot of people do that. A lot of people just say just say it out clear. They don't like a player. They just say, okay, I don't like what he's doing right now, but I'll give it time.
Just to clarify, my criticism of Nketiah,
I don't think it's you. I'm just saying what a lot of people do.
Yeah.
You've gone through it many times. If they want to watch it, they can go back and watch the previous video. Let's, but big up to everyone. So by the way, Saliba technically is not on the injury list yet on this website, but Saliba's is a knock. Fabio Vieira is a knock. Declan Rice is a back issue. Saka's a knock. Hamstring for Gabriel Martinelli. Knee for Timber. Trossard has a thigh injury or grade 1 hamstring, as they're saying, and a groin injury for Thomas Partey. Now, on their side, they're going to miss some players too. And I heard even Dominic Solanke might be questionable and might not start. So right now, this is what they're projecting the lineups to be for this game. I know Declan Rice might not be there, so I don't know why he's even in this graphic. Saliba, 50-50.
But they didn't put him as an injured player.
Yeah, they didn't put these three as an injured player, but potentially these three are going to be out. So replace Saliba with Tomiyasu, Jorginho,
I'm surprised they
and,
put Vieira as projected starting,
and
even with
Havertz.
Havertz.
But
With
then
Havertz
on their
being injured.
side, I'm not gonna lie. I look at the Bournemouth team. Even with the rotated side, we should still beat them.
Look, we should, but the thing is, right? This isn't when we slapped them 3-0 last year. This isn't Scott Parker. Like, Iriola's a good manager, and
But what's this?
they've done fairly decently. Like you
Oh,
look at
yeah.
those results, anyone can get a draw of Chelsea these days, but 2-2 against Bournemouth, against Brentford.
Got
Sorry,
hammered by Brighton.
yeah, they did get hammered by Brighton.
Yeah, but who doesn't? But Brighton are a really good side, though.
This is the thing. So I just feel like a lot of people are getting like, oh, we have to look. We need to be. We can't be complacent in this game because they're a decent team and they're coached well. So I just think that there's not a very clear like, oh, we're going to smash them. I think we'll win, and I think we'll do well. And personally, I said this before. I want to see a Smith Rowe impact sub. I think that he's not
Yeah,
at
70th minute.
like 65, 70 minutes, something like that. So that I think can provide some oomph and some impetus into the final third that we might need at the end of the game. But yeah, I'm not unconfident or not looking forward to this game. I think this should be a nice game. I think that this game is about the same level as the Brentford game for me.
But could it be like last year? We beat them 3-0
No,
last year.
because remember that was Scott Parker as well. It's a different
But
manager.
the team was also better last year. This team compared to what we're going to be.
Yeah. But the thing is, this team is not that different. I mean, I know he's quite different actually. Jesus, what
No Havertz, first of all.
You know, 3, 4. I mean, potentially 4 or 5 changes. So
1,
yeah.
2, 3, 4. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, you're right. 5 changes.
So yeah, it's a different team. So I'm looking forward to it. I don't think there's going to be too much to worry about. It's just the fact that
their team looks completely different also. Damn.
Yes. Yeah, that's what happens. Time moves on, Igal. So yeah, I mean, different manager, different system. I'm looking forward to it. I think it should be a good game.
I'm looking at this kind of game. I don't look at form. I just look at Arsenal's team and I say to myself, does this team breed confidence into me? And I don't know. Does Ramsdale start? I start Raya.
Look, Ramsdale performed very good at the midweek. I don't know, and I'm just bored of the conversation. So whichever our keeper starts, it's cool with me. If it's Raya or Ramsdale, whichever one starts, cool. My personal bias is towards Ramsdale. I just like Ramsdale. I supported him when he first came, and I've got a bit of a that's my thing. So yeah, I would like Ramsdale to start, but if it is Raya, then great. I mean, we've got 2 great keepers, so we're not going. I don't want to do another 30 minutes on Ramsdale Raya, but
no, it's gonna be every day. And
every day, like you see Mikel's presser. He was like, whichever keeper with R starts, will thank you for helping me out with that. So yeah, it was. I think he's bored of it. I think we're bored of it. Whichever keeper starts, great. I think it'll be great for them. I don't think there's a massive drop off in either one. So, yeah. No. I'll be honest. Szoboszlai, right? You can ask these two. You can ask the guys on my channel. You can ask anyone. Szoboszlai was my guy. I wanted Szoboszlai. Okay,
bro. We wanted him before we signed Odegaard.
I wanted Szoboszlai. Yeah, exactly. Before we signed Odegaard, he's a really, really good player, and just the ball striking alone is just a weapon that we don't have in the team. So he's a good player. I think a lot of Liverpool fans are a bit insecure about this whole Szoboszlai transfer. Look, guys, you have a great player. It's not that hard. So yeah,
I'm Canadian.
He's Canadian. Yeah. Look, Szoboszlai, great player.
I don't have an English accent, do I?
No. So he's saying, why don't you have an English accent? And he's saying,
I haven't lived for long enough.
No, I don't think you will get one. I think you're old enough that will be your accent. Same when I lived abroad as well. I didn't get a Czech accent, did I? So, so yeah.
There you go. Let's let Souls speak now. Souls, what are you saying?
What? I'm not going to interrupt people.
No, because my man's like, let Souls speak.
No. We're having a conversation, and it's like, it's nice to hear Corin because he's quite irregular on the channel, should I say? Like, and obviously I'm more regular, so you already know what my thoughts are. But in terms of like the whole Szoboszlai, I think Szoboszlai started the way we wanted Havertz to start, and this is why I feel like these kind of conversations are always going to come up. Now, I do want Szoboszlai. Don't get it twisted. Like that guy is a phenomenal player. Like just everything about him is what we wanted. We really needed a goal-scoring midfielder or a player that has the ability to give us goals from midfield, and that's someone who he is. Long shots, the ability just to be like what Arteta keeps saying every week, being unpredictable. Szoboszlai is a very unpredictable player. Like he can just shoot and it scored. Like, look at the goal he scored. I think it was midweek or on the weekend. Like he just blasted that in. Like they're the kind of moments that we need. He seems to be a player that can, take the game from the scruff of his neck and actually turn it around himself.
Better signing than Maddison? What do you think?
Personally, I would have Szoboszlai over Maddison. I mean, better signing is too early to say. I mean, they're both making the impact both clubs needed, so it's hard to say.
By the way, did you guys know we're unbeaten? I thought after the 2-2 loss to Tottenham, everyone was going to say Arsenal's washed.
The main thing for me, and to go back to the Maddison thing, look, signings depend on the team they're going to as well. Maddison is a great signing for Spurs because they've been screaming for a creative midfielder for how many years?
Yeah.
Szoboszlai is great for Liverpool because he's a pressing demon as well as being a ball striker, which they've needed in that squad. I think when you have teams, I think people just look, oh, he's doing well here. He can just put him into this team and he's going to do brilliantly. What are the dynamics of the team? What's the spacing like? Who's doing what role on the team? Where is someone going to be placed on the team? What are the dynamics going to be? Are they going to fit the team that is going to happen? Is the ability to create relationships on the pitch going to be the same as it is at the club they've gone to? And this is why I find this kind of talk so tiring, because like people just go, okay, just take this guy out, put him in here, and their eyes is done. And it's just like, well, that's not how football works. Football's a game based on relationships and space.
It's like the Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne conversation.
Exactly. You see Bruno and you put him in City. It's not the same Bruno. You get a coach. He's not going to be able to spam balls for 90 minutes through the lines.
You put Bruno on thing. Pep is going to say he needs to work on his touch.
Not just on his touch. He needs to calm down. He needs to be able to retain the ball. Like Pep isn't like Man United is a team that I can say genuinely for the past 3 or 4 years that is now a transition-based team. They love living on the transition. Bruno Fernandes and Marcus Rashford. So
let's bring it to this actual image, and the reason why I brought it up: Arsenal and Liverpool are the only two teams unbeaten in all competitions this season. You would have never guessed this if you just listened to Twitter, or as we were saying earlier. People just love to talk about Arsenal's start to the season. Arsenal are undefeated. Arsenal have won pretty much almost all their games. And yet, it's a situation where we've had a bad season so far. Is it because the expectations have just gone up, or is it people are just irrational nowadays? Because I don't know. Have you guys seen what do you call it? AFC's tweet?
Which AFC? There's a lot of AFCs.
This one.
Oh, Sampa. Yeah. No, I mean, look, it is what it is, and people are going to say, "Who have you beaten?" We beaten United and we drew at Spurs. We've had 2 top 6 games. Same period. We only had 1 top 6 game. We're only 1 point behind what we had last season. But people quite clearly, and I agree with it, are looking at performances at this stage of the season because that's what sets you up later in the season. But the thing is, what I think a lot of people are forgetting is, like, I don't like doing the City comparison. We're trying to beat them. We're not trying to be City. We're trying to beat City. But what City have done is they've improved as the season goes on, and that's what we need to try and do. I think with the players we have out, with the players we are still to come back, we still have to keep going and trying to create a bit more synergy between the lines, especially between Havertz and Rice and Odegaard at that point. I think it was after the United loss, Mikel was like, watch these guys after 60 games and tell me how they do. They played 1 game together. So we'll see. I think that a lot of the things with the season, and I've said it for like 2 or 3 seasons now, until 10 games are gone, shut the fuck up. Like, who the fuck cares? But genuinely, until 10 games goes past, I don't know what you're trying to
No,
tell
but
me.
bro, after 3 games, people were saying this Arsenal team's not the same. West Ham.
After 3 games, we had no points in 1 year. Who the fuck cares? Genuinely.
This is what people do, bro. It's reactionary world that we live in. But hey, enough about that. Let's get into the actual prediction of the game. And I think I covered everything. There's not really any transfer news today. Not really anything else to talk about besides that. Oh, did you guys see my tweets? Because I had 2 crazy tweets today.
No, I've been out, but yeah, let me know.
Okay, it's not like the negative tweets as always. These are kind of quite positive, right? Because
I saw there was one video tweet you posted.
There's one about Partey.
Yeah, this one, yeah.
Partey has said something interesting.
Played a couple of games as right back, and then I started playing like a right wing. There were different positions.
Wing.
Yes.
You have the speed?
I have the ability, my friend.
Now people see this video and they're like, "Yo, Thomas Partey, he couldn't beat Declan Rice. Now he's trying to play right wing." Or people are saying Thomas Partey. One person tweeted and said, "Jokes like this make me think Thomas Partey's 40." I'm like, what? The tweets people come out with. But right wing, I don't ever want to see Partey at right wing. But hey, if he's played at Atletico Madrid and played right wing, left wing, that's interesting to know. But I've never thought about him playing in all these different positions. Does that just say
just quickly, Gal? There's one thing in common there. Obviously central midfield, but right back and right wing, not on the left side. And I've been told by the entire fan base that Partey and Rice can't play together. Yeah, one is left-sided, one is right-sided. They quite clearly can play in the same midfield together, the same team together. They quite clearly have the ability to synergize together. The question is will Thomas's injuries help get through the season? Will we see enough of it at the time? But I think in big games, like we saw at the Community Shield, Partey and Rice together with Erdogan, maybe Havertz as a 9. I think that's a really good way to get through games, and that's the main thing I took away from this video. Obviously people are going to experience the jokes, but the thing is, Partey is a right-sided dominant player, and I think that's what I took away from this, and that's something that is quite clear, and what we've seen from obviously his partnership with Xhaka. Him and Declan can quite easily play together. Even if he's playing at right back and
I don't think I ever want to see him playing at right wing though. Souls?
Oh hell no.
Hey, let's try it.
No, let's not try it.
Nah, man.
No. I didn't finish in training.
Don't give Arteta ideas. And then the second video, this was really emotional. Did you guys see this?
No, I seen you post it. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
Emotional
No,
video.
I got to watch. He came from South Africa, I think, wasn't it?
From Cape Town, South Africa, to come and see this.
Wow. How was it for you?
It was emotional. I've been an Arsenal fan since I was 9 years old. I'm 60 now. Can I tell you something?
I feel emotional.
Can I tell you something?
Yeah, I feel emotional.
I cried when they kicked
I can
off.
see your eyes are watering. Oh,
It was
do you want a hug?
amazing.
Should we go? Oh.
I've dreamed of this, and now I've lived it. I grew up with this, and we dreamed of this.
You're gonna make me cry.
We are here.
Yeah, we made it.
We've known each other since we were 5 years old.
And this was our dream. It
You're
happened.
living the dream.
It happened.
Honestly, moments like this, it makes you think. So I had some comments that I wanted to run through. One guy said, "This is what it's about, more than a club." Facts. Another one said, "Oh, I love this." And I said, "Yeah, every game is somebody's first game, and you never take it for granted when you go to the games, right?" And then and that's just something that I want to take with myself. And this comment here hit home. This comment hit home. Not real fans, according to some. I find that annoying. I find that annoying that some people say that.
The fact is at the end of the day, I think a lot of people, especially online, think that their voice matters more because they go to games. I think that's more in the Chelsea fan base than it is ours. But there is a section of people that think, "Oh, I go to games, I pay for tickets, that's all that matters." No, mate, you don't get up at 2 a.m. You don't get up at 6 a.m. to watch our games, mate. Like, it takes a different level of commitment. It takes literally putting your body through it. Like, it's a different level. And
yeah,
even though people can't make games and go to games, they're just as much as fan as you or anyone else. This is the same thing I have with me and my basketball team. I've never had any issues with that, but like,
Are you a Lakers fan?
no, I'm a Nuggets fan. So
Oh,
uh,
you're in trouble because West Coast 3 o'clock games mental.
exactly. So
Yeah, I get it.
so it's man, I've done that for what, 15 years now. So like I get it. So
I'm gonna say this. I started doing YouTube. I don't know how long ago, but when I started doing YouTube, I always used to get xenophobic comments. People saying, "Oh, this Canadian, this American doesn't know what he's doing. This guy doesn't know what he's talking about." And the fact that I don't get those comments as often anymore, I really maybe put it to a testament of people getting used to who I am and getting used to me talking about Arsenal. But also, I like the fact that we have more and more people that are not just British, that are not just from England, talking about the sport. Like Hussam, to be such a big voice in the Liverpool space, to be a foreign fan is a massive deal. To have myself, somebody who's not necessarily from the UK originally, that doesn't have the UK accent, speaking about football and people accepting my opinions and accepting me is a big deal. And it shouldn't be like this, but people should understand that fans are just fans. It doesn't matter if you're from Cape Town, South Africa, like he is, from Canada, like I am, from England, like you guys are, or from Australia or anywhere. But the fact that you support one team and we all like the same team and we all support the same team, we're all Gooners and we should all respect each other like that. And this is just another moment, this is an emotional moment to just remember, like, we're all the same. Even though we're from different parts of the world, when we're watching the team and we're supporting the team, we're all the same. And that's why I appreciate the people who watch my content and the people who respect foreign fans, because I really do think foreign fans don't get the respect that they deserve. And maybe when we're on preseason tour and you see people in the UK complaining about the games being at 1 o'clock in the morning, that's when you start to appreciate them a little bit more, respect them a little bit more. But yeah, that's my take on it. Souls, what do you got to say?
I mean, it's social media, isn't it? I mean, if you're expecting the world for everyone to be positive, you just got to look at the positives. There's enough people who praise people for being abroad. That there aren't that many people. It's a few trolls. I mean, it's a heartwarming, like, obviously, sentiment, because even living in the country, it's difficult to commit to coming to a game, even though I'm 3-4 hours away. It can be a bit difficult because you've got to get time off, especially for a Sunday game, the next day, the travels and everything. So, I mean, look, if you can get to a game, wicked. If you can't, you can't. It is what it is. Only that doesn't mean, what is it, 60, 70,000 people are real fans? That's it. That's all. Not even that, because the capacity then goes stay away fans as well. So, when you look at it, yeah, about 45,000 people are real fans. So the rest of us can just keep our mouth shut, then, can't we?
And you know what? Immediately I get good comments and then people talking to me about Julian. I don't really care about other people. I don't police other fans. I've actually spoken to Julian. He's a cool guy. It's just, I think people see the extreme takes. They don't actually see what he actually means behind some of these takes. But I'm not here. If you go and speak to anybody about anybody's takes online, there's going to be people who disagree with everybody.
And the thing is, people in real life as well. People in real life do not have the same opinions.
Yeah, but people in real life are not yelling at each other about their takes 24/7.
No, this is the thing. So I just feel like a lot of people, you've got to just take take it with the whatever you have, because at this moment in time, you're not going to see a lot of people go, "Oh, this is just how things are. This is we're here. You're not here. What are you doing about it? We're contributing to the team. Blah blah blah." It's just, people have their opinions and you just have to stick with that. And if you can try and change your mind, but there's not much you can do, and just live your life and try and be as happy as you can.
I have the whole Tottenham fan base triggered right now because I did a combined 11 between Liverpool and Tottenham, and I put in Trent over Pedro Porro, and I called Pedro Porro a joke. These guys are really upset. How are you upset at Trent over Pedro Porro? It doesn't make sense to me. Anyways,
Trent over Pedro Porro is a controversial take.
Apparently.
Man, shut the fuck up. What the fuck are we doing right now? This is just ridiculous.
Is Pedro Porro even that good?
Pedro Porro has had what, 7 good games, maybe like in his entire time at Tottenham. Like this is the same thing they were doing with Emerson when he started at Tottenham. Look, I appreciate what Tottenham did at the Emirates. They got a 2-2 win.
Maybe
That's
it's
very
my
good for
comment
them.
because I called them a
But
joke. That's what they're
But
upset.
the thing is, they can celebrate a 2-2 win. That's fine. But the question is, and the question that's not going to be answered for another 6 or 7 months is, how are you going to deal with it when it comes to the fact that you're going to have teams that are going to get wins against you? It's going to happen. Someone's going to beat you. How are you going to how are you going to respond to that? And they haven't really been hit. We tried to hit them. We didn't have enough. Fair enough. You got your little 2-2 there, but someone's going to beat them, and hopefully it's Liverpool because they need humbling right now.
Oh, 110%.
But
I want Liverpool
we'll see.
to smash them.
Hopefully, but
Iga, it's excitement, Iga. You were comparing Odegaard to Kevin De Bruyne. It's normal. That's the media for you. They compare everybody.
No, but this is the thing. I think a lot of people just like this is the same thing that happened with the injury thing today. The people were complaining that Football Daily were mentioning how many injuries we have. Like, mate, did you not see how much coverage Chelsea and United and it's just whatever is ever in your face right now. If it's in your face right now, then you complain about it because you forget the things that happened maybe 2-3 days ago.
Sorry.
So I just think there's a lot of recency bias, a lot of like really like just getting into trying to anger people, and the same thing happens with Havertz. Happens with a lot of things, and I think it's just something you have to deal with.
Yeah, and it's time for the score predictions, guys.
I'm going 2-0. What are you going with?
I'm going 2-0 also. I think we keep clean sheets away from home, and we're a lot more focused on our defensive side of the game. So definitely do think that's what we're going to do. And did you change your lineup? You said Havertz a lot forward and Odegaard is the left 8.
But on Twitter, I what I would like to see is what I posted. On Twitter, I posted what I'd like to see. I would like to see Jesus and Havertz on the right side and Odegaard and Nelson on the left side with Nketiah dropping to run forward. But I think we'll see it the other way around.
Goalkeeper.
I just put goalkeeper. I can't be asked. I just put goalkeeper. Like whoever starts, I don't really care. Like if you look at the first comment, look at the first comment. Like if you go to the first comment, it says it's Chris, and he goes, "When did we sign goalkeeper?" I said, I don't care about the keeper. Like it's like even in the app, it just says GK. I just put goalkeeper. Who cares? Whatever goalkeeper starts it is.
Okay. Fair enough. What are you saying, Souls? So since we both have 2-0 victories, what are you saying?
No. I'm just thinking. I don't know. Do you know what? Yeah, ESR off the bench. He's gonna come and score a hat trick. Fuck it, 3-0.
You know what?
Oh no! Actually, let me change that. Havertz is gonna score 2. Yeah, and he's going to assist ESR off the bench. That's the prediction.
There you go. If a Havertz brace happens, I swear it's going to put Chelsea fans into depression. But yeah, we're done, guys. You guys have yourselves a wonderful day. I'll catch you guys on the next one. I got an air fryer, so I got to learn how to make some chicken wings on an air fryer. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.
Oh, banging.